Hey guys, fashionably late again, and I think we're going to blame Tamara this time.
Yeah, it's your turn this time.
Yeah, it'll be my turn. I'm the new one. I can play the new card for a little while, right?
Hey, there we go.
Right.
So guys, top screen there we have Tamara, our newest addition, and very glad that she is here. And of course, you guys know Dan and Alex and Chrissy and myself. And thank you guys for being here with us tonight.
Yep, thank you.
Those damn TikTokers.
Yeah, coming from a TikTok.
That's right.
So I think most in the chat right now are TikTokers.
Yeah. So Dan, what is the current update with TikTok? And supposedly it's going to end, or what's going on? And I mean, since that's your
waiting on the Supreme Court to make a ruling, probably tomorrow.
So is when is it technically supposed to end?
The 19th.
The 19th, but they're doing something tomorrow to stop it or prolong.
So the Supreme Court heard oral arguments between both sides. Monday, they're supposed to be back in session. I don't know if they're making their ruling Monday or hearing more oral arguments from the attorneys from the content creators. Because content creators did file a lawsuit against the federal government.
Yeah.
For violating free speech.
Yep, I figured they would.
And technically it really is, because if it was such a national security threat, they would have addressed it in 2016. Not.
Yep.
They just don't like the fact everybody's getting their news from a social media platform. Now, I just recently learned this, and it kind of got me upset. Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos were lobbying money to get the politicians to vote on the ban.
Yeah.
I was telling Denny this morning that why does that sound like it's like a Facebook and a other social media apps to shut down TikTok to come over to them in a way? Does that make sense?
See, the problem is TikTok is taking 62% of the revenue from Amazon, which is Jeff Bezos, and Facebook Marketplace through the TikTok shop. See, if it was such a national security threat, you have Temu, and there's another shopping app that's out of China. Yeah. They're not banning those. And more personal data comes when you're purchasing things like that.
Yeah. Is Venmo or not Venmo? What's the other one called? Doesn't it start with the V?
No, you got Temu, or what are you talking about? Social media?
Well, the selling stuff online that's the last year has come really popular. Vivor.
Oh, never heard of it.
Yeah,
there is, right. Shein is another good one.
Yes.
My daughter loves Shein. Wish, that's a good one.
Yeah. And see, all of those are Chinese-based organizations, and they collect data, but there is no ban on those. So during the hearing, the attorney for the government was stating that they're afraid of content manipulation, which is a violation of free speech.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hey, you.
Oh my God.
Here.
Alex has his fan club over tonight.
Yep. I got all two of them.
So we're going to see. I mean, me personally, I'd be surprised if it went anywhere, because you're going to take out 170 something million U.S. people, and not only that, but hundreds of thousands of small businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Over there.
yeah, I was watching stuff earlier and I had seen some people that were talking about stuff. And people are basically already saying their goodbyes and basically telling people to, I haven't been on Instagram in a couple years, so please go back and start following me there and I'll start doing updates and stuff like that. So,
well, see, the new trend on TikTok now is they have a picture of a Chinese man sitting at a desk, and in the caption it says they want to thank the Chinese spy for providing us a good algorithm. And then they put the Whitney. See me, I put the Whitney Houston song, but some of them did P. Diddy song.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
The comment sections on those videos are off the chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So, have any of you bought stuff off the TikTok shop?
Yes.
Have you? I've only bought one thing. Tammy's bought. She bought us at Christmas time. She bought us a bunch of the Apple phone charger cords that have the ends that pull apart, and they have all the different styles.
Right.
And I think only half of them worked.
Yeah.
They light up. They have all kinds of neon lights on them as they're charging and stuff. But I think only half of them seemed to work. But I had bought something else, and I mean it was all right. So, but
I mean, there's no difference in ordering off Temu.
Yeah.
I've ordered off Temu too.
Yeah.
How can videos of cats be a national security risk? Thank you.
Well, there's quite a bit of stuff that's, people get pretty nasty with stuff against the government and everything else. And, I mean, there's just as much stuff on there that's for fun. There's just as much stuff like Dan's on there doing his thing, the public awareness for, the missing children every time something happens, and then there's people that basically do it for advertising for their business. So, I mean, it benefits a lot of people for different things, but I mean, let's be honest, with the fires that are going on in California right now, you get more realistic updates from TikTok than you do from CNN or Fox News, so.
Yeah.
Just wish everything wasn't so politicized.
Oh God, yes.
See, what I find humorous is 30-something% of the politicians that voted for the bill, within a few weeks before they voted, they bought stock into Meta.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
We're in the wrong business.
So Dan, like with you, if TikTok really does go south, what will you do besides like what we do on Sunday nights or whatever? What will be your next, I guess, place to go to help spread, public awareness for what happens?
I've got 1, 2, 3, because I won't be, if this goes south, I will not be posting on Facebook or Instagram. I will be going to Favorited, which is a live streaming platform. I've already got it growing.
What's it called?
Favorited.
Favorited?
Yeah, and I also got my YouTube channel to where I can go live on it now.
Okay. Interesting. I haven't heard of Favorited. Yeah.
It's a new live streaming platform.
Awesome. Well, how's everybody else been doing lately?
Hanging in there.
Made it through the
Yeah.
holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
mom's been in the hospital in ICU since Christmas, or she's actually been in ICU since Christmas. And we think we get good news, and then we're back to square one. And it's been a crazy ride there.
yeah.
They think everything's going to come out all right, but we're talking weeks, possibly months to get her back on her feet.
Yeah.
But she's where she needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you need a good hospital and you're anywhere around Columbia, Missouri, MU has been incredible.
It's like KU for us up here. So
Yeah.
See, mom's brain was stuck in a constant seizure for I believe it was almost 4 days straight. And they were able to get that stopped. Testing is showing no actual damage or anything was done through that, and they've been doing really good with her.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
so see, favorited, that's the only downfall with favorited. You can't post videos. It's only live streaming only.
oh,
oh, that's interesting.
There's one that I heard called Thread. I don't know anything about it, but I heard someone saying they're going to that. But I've
Yeah,
heard of that one.
you won't catch me streaming anything off of anything connected to Zuckerberg after what I heard.
Is that who it is? Okay, I just heard the name and I hadn't seen what it was yet.
There's so many names
Yeah.
out there, and yet so many of them come back to the same people.
right.
Yeah, so Zuckerberg owns, as far as social media, they own Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and WhatsApp.
Oh, okay.
Lovely.
Interesting. So what is, I mean, the reasoning you're not going to go to any of those, Dan, is why? I mean,
Because
what?
Zuckerberg lobbied for this ban to happen.
Oh,
He
okay.
raised money for this to happen.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Him and Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could see, and I don't know about you guys, but I used to buy a lot of stuff. I mean, I would say multiple times a week on Amazon. And my other house that I have is literally like a half a mile over from the distributorship building in KCK. So if I ordered something in the morning before like 10 o'clock, they would deliver it that day. I would have it when I came home from work that night. If it was Prime, stuff with Prime, I mean, sometimes it would be the next day or 2 days. Well, when I moved up here to the house in Missouri, Prime stuff, is supposed to be 3 days. It was supposed to be 3 days. I don't know if it still falls under the 3-day stuff or not, but it's a week. So it doesn't even pay to have Prime anymore. Unless, I mean, I do have, because I do watch, Prime Video stuff. But at this point, you can get stuff faster through Walmart or, eBay at this point. I mean, it's really sad. So I could see why all the issues now, the stuff that I ordered, the few things that we've ordered, through the TikTok shop took a couple weeks to get, because I'm sure it's coming from overseas. But, like when you guys order stuff through Amazon Prime, what have you guys had, like your timeline and stuff?
Couple days, give or take.
See, we've had a lot of issues with our packages not showing up
Yeah.
through Amazon. So We canceled our service with Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty quick. We have a new distributor warehouse of some kind. So sometimes it's, a couple days, sometimes it's like same day even, or like late in the evening, or the next day in the morning.
Yeah.
It just depends what you're ordering if they have it there. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same agreement. I like supporting local businesses, but sometimes, Amazon will have something unusual you can't find anywhere else. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And I think too, which I've kind of noticed, is I used to, like, if you have to go to the auto parts store and buy parts for your vehicle, let's say you were getting brake pads. It used to be you could go online to O'Reilly's or Advanced Auto Parts or Napa. You could do your research, you could get the part numbers, and you could go like on Rock Auto, or you could go to Amazon, search the part number, and stuff on Amazon used to be quite a bit cheaper. I mean, it made it worth your time to wait 3 days if you needed to do brakes on your vehicle or something. Well, now the prices are pretty much the same. So it doesn't even, if it's just stuff that you can buy locally like that day, it's not even worth it anymore at this point. So I guess the good years of Amazon is, in my opinion, is in the past.
I mean, there's been multiple employee strikes because of what's going on with Amazon.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
there was a show that I watched recently that talked about, well, it's consumerism in general, but it talked a lot about Amazon and like some of the things that the employees were, kind of boycotting or just having issues with. It was on Amazon Prime of all things, but I'll have to look it up. It's like Shop or something like that.
I know what you're talking about.
Profit or something like that. Yeah.
Yep. I saw the preview for that. And I think it was it these different people that were buying and selling through Amazon and different venues of selling through online selling through Amazon or Walmart or stuff like that. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was a doc. I mean, it wasn't just Amazon though. They did talk quite a bit about Amazon. Buy Now. It was on Netflix.
Buy Now.
Yep. It's on Netflix. Yeah. It was very interesting. It goes into, just a lot of it is just consumerism in general, about having to buy, we're a very consumer-based society and having to buy different things. But it goes to a lot of the behind the scenes of what actually happens in these places. And Amazon was a big part of it. And they have a lot of people that were part of the company, talking about their experience too. So it was really, there's a lot of good information in there that seemed like it was pretty well vetted.
Yeah. Well, it's times. I feel like times are changing again. All of a sudden, it seems like just things are up in turmoil and just everything right now. So, well, Dennis, what's our current update with cases that have come in? I know you and I have discussed quite a few situations with cases and stuff, and
we've had a few new ones come in that I put videos out on, that basically slideshows that pop them all up. And right now it's been pretty much just been trying to line up searches on the cases that we have. And one of those, we had a search scheduled the first weekend of April. And this was one we were supposed to do back in July, but then I had my surgery right before, so we had to push it out. Then I was so far behind that it kept getting pushed out because we got to travel out a little bit for this one. Then now with the weather, this one's going to involve likely getting in the water. So early April was the earliest I felt it would be safest to do that. Water's still going to be extremely cold.
Yeah.
But with this one, and I'm going to give a shout out real quick. Everyone knows him as Echo Diver, James Finkel. He reached out to me the other day. We had a really long, really good conversation. and he may be meeting us to do this particular search and assisting with us to get that search done. And
Yeah.
just incredible guy. I had never talked to him before. I've seen some of his videos. He's the one that found Donald Irwin down in Camden, Missouri. He flies the drones, uses different filters on his camera. He's been doing a lot of searches for range leech, and that's what led to the conversation. And first time we talked like an hour and 45 minutes. Just incredible guy. You can feel he has a big heart. He just wants to help these families find answers. And if you see this, James, thank you for reaching out. I look forward to talking to you again and look forward to working some cases like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know
I'm sorry. Go
that
ahead.
particular search, the family has actually requested that we film the entire search and bring that out to people with just some of the backstory going on with that particular case. We've been working with a private investigator that's working on the case with the family, and really believe we're going to find something at this location.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because, I mean, it's not funny, but it's odd is, there was another group out there that does searches and everybody's well known who they are. And they were doing countless episodes on Donald Irwin, and it's actually Echo Diver is the one that found Donald Irwin. He's the one with his drone work and everything he did. He actually found the car in the pond. They came back, the divers did everything, and I'm not bad mouthing the other people, but there was lots of people that was commenting, like, why are you guys dragging this out for so long? Why, you're not the one that found him. And so just if people follow, certain cases between groups, that if you go to Echo Diver, and you can actually see the video where he found the car and, he tells the story. That way, you see it from his point of view and just not what things you see on social media and stuff. So,
yeah, and his story about that particular search was so incredible. So if you haven't seen his video on that, Echo Divers here on YouTube, go over and watch that. It was,
yeah,
to me, it was mind blowing, incredible how that come about, and very glad he was there, put the effort in, and brought him home. In fact, they actually recovered him. It was Christmas Day, 2023, I believe it was.
yeah,
Just amazing job.
yeah. But yeah, I think it would be awesome, I know you've had some really good talks with him, Dennis, and hopefully we are able to, keep a relationship with him and, learn some stuff from him. And if he is able to help us, on some of our things, that would be wonderful. So,
Mac Randall Jr. says he's late, but he's here. Mac, I think this is one of the first times that we were on live before you got here.
yeah.
He would normally be like Gunner,
Yeah.
and be one of the first in the chat, and 30 minutes later we're live.
And speaking of people being late, where is Catfish?
Say, he texted me earlier today a couple times, and then I didn't hear nothing back from him.
Yeah, he messaged me early this morning and was basically what are you doing, silly? He was get your finger out of your nose. Don't be boogie. No, he messaged me pretty early this morning. and was chit chatty kind of back and forth with some text messages. But yeah, I figured he would be here for sure, and I don't see him.
So, Alex, in February, we have something coming up, and Alex talked with these people and got us in last year, and we're going back this year. That's over at
Yes.
the Western Farm Show.
Yes. So
Yeah.
the Western Farm Show
Annymous.
is a huge exhibition show. I believe it's probably one of the biggest agricultural farm type shows in the Midwest. We have it here at the American Royal, which I believe this year is the last year we're having it at the original American Royal complex. And I believe next year, the 2026 event, we will be at the brand new complex by the NASCAR track in Kansas City, Kansas.
Out by the Legends area.
Yes.
Yep.
So, but it is a show. There's hundreds upon hundreds of vendors. It is a agricultural farm ranch type based show, but there's all kinds of people there. I mean, there's people selling clothing, food. I mean, anything that could be basically used in your home, ranch, farm situation. Yeah, there's some pictures of us from last year. But it was an incredible event because there's so many, and this is just one section of one floor on one side of the building. So there's just an incredible amount of people that come through this. And, I had talked with Dennis, a couple years ago and said, we should try getting a booth and do this and, get the word out with missing people and stuff. And well, that's what we did. And they worked with us and they asked us to come back again this year. So we are definitely, we'll be there again this year, spreading the word, helping, bring public awareness to missing people and cases. Tammy and I had taken a TV from home. We set it up. Dennis had videos playing through the laptop. And it was just incredible. The people that would just start to stop and pile up and watch the videos and then start asking questions. And, we had numerous people that had some type of connection to different cases all over, basically here in Kansas and Missouri. And it was just an incredible experience, from every possible point of view of being there to, doing it. So we're definitely going to be back there this year for sure.
See, there were, I don't know how many thousands of people come throughout that event, but there were so many people there.
Yeah.
And it's Western Farm Show, but as Alex was saying, there is literally something there for everybody. And it was just so incredible.
Yeah. Go ahead.
They had the drones for agriculture.
Oh, yeah.
They had the big tanks under it. These are so big, they're brought in on flatbed trailers.
Yeah.
And I told Alex and I told Megan, if you take that tank off and you rig up a seat there with a harness, well, you could just fly around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were, some of them had probably a 6 or 8 foot wingspan, we actually talked with Dennis and I talked with the DJ Maverick people, and we talked to them about the infrared one they had.
Their thermal imaging.
Their thermal imaging one.
Amazing.
So very expensive. Very expensive. But yeah, just an incredible time. So I hope this year is, last year was, in my opinion, a success just for being there and spreading public awareness, because it was crazy. It was crazy to see. It was kind of like the deer in the headlight look when people would start watching the video and just focus on it. And then it's like, wow, these people are really getting into this. So, but this year, I think a bigger TV, more flashing, Hulu lights on top, and of course, more candy to give out. So,
Yeah, and we gave away T-shirts, we gave away koozies, and guys, there's the dates and address again. The website link is in the video description, and if you go to that link, you could actually download a coupon that will get you $3 off your ticket fee going in.
yeah,
But westernfarmshow.com, it's got all the information on it. And when, like your gate, where you pay at the gate to go into park, all of that is done that day. So as you pull in, they're sitting there in a booth, you pay them, go park, and then you can pay at the door as well to get in. And if you take your coupon, you can print it off or you could show it to them on your phone, and you'll get your $3 off your admission going in.
yeah.
But if you're going to be in the area, highly recommended coming out for that.
Yeah, for sure. And I would, as we get closer and closer to the date, I am going to speak with the girl that runs the American Royal, the one that I've been in contact with, and I'm going to ask her if there's a possibility, because there's all kinds of rooms and conference rooms and stuff like that in the American Royal building. But I'm going to ask her if by chance we would have the availability to use a private room somewhere if we had somebody that did want to come and speak to us face to face, instead of in front of everybody. So I am going to ask her about that. And if that is the case 100%, then I have no problem reimbursing someone their money if they want to come and talk with us face to face at the event. I'll be more than happy to give them their admission money back and their parking money if they feel they have leads or they want to talk about a case or something like that. So, because, absolutely.
Sharing and caring with Miss Julie. Yeah, absolutely. If you have a question, feel free to throw that out there. And Alex, where you're going with that, we had an individual stop and talk to us last year about the Adam Herman case. And I think that if there wasn't so many other people around, he may have shared more information than what we did get. So giving them that security of privacy, talking about those cases, they may be more willing to talk more.
I honestly think that moment after we started talking to him, and he was very into watching the video, and he started talking, and I kind of felt just for a few seconds, and I think Dennis did too, that was Adam.
Right.
He kind of looked like the child that went missing, and it was very strange because this guy was fixated, like in a trance watching it, and he watched it over and over and over. And then he went into talking about, he grew up at the same time in that town. His grandpa, Dennis, you might have to help me remember this. Did he tell us that his grandpa owned the house that Adam and his family was renting?
Yes.
And living in? And it was, I'll be honest, it was kind of spooky. It just seemed like, what is really going on here for a moment? But I don't think we've ever heard from that guy again.
She says, I have a channel and would love to share your last live about summer wells on my channel. I will be happy to share your link. I want to watch it with my YouTube family. We are huge advocates.
Hey, absolutely. Anytime anybody wants to share any video, especially when it is a case, 100% go for it. And you are also more than welcome to put a link to your channel in the comments as well. But yeah, absolutely no problem with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Alex, talking about the farm show the other night, you kind of had an idea that you threw out about doing something similar. Do you want to kind of
Yeah.
jump into that and see if there's an interest?
Yeah. So I as probably a lot of you know, we had a tremendous snowstorm come through our area, and here in town where I live, I do a lot of work. I've done work since the very first day that the people who opened it's called the Bell wedding venue of Camden Point, Missouri. So I became friends with them, and I have done all their dirt work, anything and everything over the years. I have been there helping them with. So I told Dennis I was up there the other night pushing snow, cleaning, and it takes me. I think it took us like 6 hours to clean the snow up with one plow truck and one of the skid steers. But I was thinking while I was working, and I'm like, why can't we put on an event, in the future and basically put it out there that if you are involved in the missing people genre situation where, you're like Muddy Waters or like what Dan does or, the stuff like what Tamara does, why couldn't we have some type of our own like expo show? And basically I can talk with the wedding venue and see, I don't expect them to do it for free, but what they might charge, or if we charge admission and they keep all the money. But what if we put on some type of an event where people all over the United States can show up and we can do like booths, just like we do at the farm show. They have a stage, they have all their stuff. I mean, they have a place to have food, drinks, there's bathrooms. It's a very elegant, beautiful place. So I thought, why couldn't we do this? Why can't we put on some type of an event, maybe like in the winter of 2026? I mean, because their downtime is, of course, wintertime. Basically, the 1st of April till basically right before Christmas, they're booked nonstop. So if we did it in a time where were not booked, what could we do? Could we do something like this and pull it off and, have this to where if, we can advertise it where like, hey, this is Fred and he lives in Iowa and his son is missing. And basically, he shows up and there's this group out of Iowa that looks for missing people that he could talk to them, and also on the stage, we could do lectures, stuff like that. So there's lots of ideas, it's just something I thought of while I was working. And then I brought it to Dennis's attention. And could we make this happen? Would it be worth our time to do something like this?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I've helped put on other conferences too, so I'd be happy to help. And I think having a venue like that, because the cause that you're doing, you'll get a lot of support from that too. I think since the people.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we have the nonprofit status, that would also help. But anything in general, to get people to come together. And, sometimes it's just support. And I think there are some like support groups. I don't know if there's anything quite like this, but, a lot of this could just be, different missing people groups coming together, sharing ideas, having like like seminars maybe about just safety. They have some people that are like experts on just, you know, awareness and, you know,
Yeah.
what to do like when you're out in the woods, you know, like personal locator beacons, you
Yeah.
know, just whatever works, whatever someone has, like maybe you have a drone expert come in and talk, or like, you know, echo diver if
Yeah.
they have like an expertise with their drones.
Yeah.
Anything like that would probably be really good just to, so you might want to define it. Is it just for the searching group, or is it for the people that, you know, have, you know, people that are missing in their family, or a little bit of both, but to kind of define like where you really want to go with it. Is it just more of a, let's get all the groups together to really discuss and get ideas to all help each other out? Or do you want families involved? You know, either way, I mean, it can be a little bit of both, but you can just, as long as you define it really good.
I kind of think it would be beneficial to open it up to anything and everything that deals around missing people, whether it's groups like us, you know, that work this part of it. There's like manufacturers, the drone people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, we offer drones with, you know, the thermal imaging. This is good for people that are missing, you know, in the woods, you know.
Yeah.
People who sell diving equipment, you know, there's so many different things that could possibly, you know, work in this situation. So, you know, it's an idea. If, you know, if we can pull it off, that would be cool. You know, maybe we could set it for, you know, January of 2027 or something, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it just depends. You know, I guess we'd have to put the feelers out there and just say, you know, hey, would you be interested if there was a conference expo event? And would you be interested in participating in it? You could set up a booth, whether you're a search team, you sell drones, scuba equipment, boats, you know, ATVs. I mean, you know, anything and everything that someone might use in this situation. I mean, what about the companies that make the magnets that throw them in the water on the strings like we have? You know, what about, you know, the sonar equipment, you know? I mean, metal detectors. There's so many things that we could do. It's just, I mean, their building is only so big, though. That's the only downfall. So, you know, so it's just an idea, you know, and I thought, what, you know, what's the possibility we could do something like this? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
See,
Yeah.
Dan stepped away for just a minute, but this is something that we could drag Dan up here too. It'd be a good place for him to missing in USA and put attention on the Amber Alerts and all of that good stuff.
Yeah. And even education on it, because I know there's that recent case in Leavenworth, and all the comments were like, "Oh, this only works. You know, Amber Alerts are only this, or Amber Alerts are only this," and so everyone doesn't quite always understand it either. So there could be some good education with that too.
Yeah.
And Alex, just to let you know, like when we've done some of my conferences in the past, a lot of times, I mean, you have to think about wintertime as well, but a lot of times what we've done is like, we'll get like, so like up here, like the big conference season really starts, you know, especially the further north you go, it's like really June, like after school starts. But but you could have a conference like the month before, like if they start our book starting in April, you could have a conference in March, and that would still give them, you know, you still have people, you'd still have availability probably, but wouldn't be like in the middle of winter, which people are kind of like settled down. Although this is a different kind of conference too, but that might avoid some of the winter issues. But that's what we've done is, you know, we kind of make it right before the start, which the venues are just thrilled with and the towns are thrilled with, because they want to bring the people in. And, or, you know, like I said, you can make it later, but if you kind of want to hit the edge of it, that seems to work pretty good. But I mean, it depends on your town and the venue too.
Yeah. Like I know, like around here in the Kansas City area, like growing up, as a kid and, becoming an adult, we had stuff like the farm show. We had the boat and RV show that they used to hold down at Bartle Hall. They had the home shows, different venue buildings. We had the home shows. We had the hunting and gun shows. I think that was kind of the thing here was in the wintertime, there was always some type of big shows to go to get you out of the house. And that was like a selling point was, like the outdoor RV and fun show, which was the boat and RV show, they would amp it up and, like, are you sick and tired of being inside? Well, then come out to the RV and outdoor fun show. And it would always be on all the radio stations. They would get you all wound up to go. And then you'd get there and you'd be like, yeah. And they'd have these giant fishing tanks that were like half the size of your house that were plastic. And they would be doing fishing shows and they would have anything and everything. It was so cool. So, like I said, we could technically do it any time of the year, but, if I was to talk to the wedding venue and, be able to work something out with them, it's just like I said, their slow time, downtime is, this time of the year. They don't even have that many indoor weddings going on right now. I know they do. What is the in high school? I forgot. What's the wintertime dance when they do the dance? Is it homecoming? Or
yeah.
prom?
Prom's in May.
Okay, so it must be. Oh, I forgot.
Years ago.
I have no idea. My child's not in high school.
Yeah.
That was years ago.
It's whatever the dance is that they always do with basketball and wrestling. So I know at the wedding venue, they have those events at the wedding venue. Homecoming.
Yes.
So homecoming is during football.
It's one of them.
Yeah. So they basically hold those at the wedding venue. They do a couple different high schools. And then they've done some, what is it? The bar mitzvahs. They've done some of those events like this time of the year. And then also Spanish, Mexican, when your young daughter becomes of age, they do something.
Yeah.
What's it called?
A quinceañera. Yes,
they've done a couple of those events. But it's just thoughts. It was just me thinking while I was working and thought, well, wow, I wonder if we could do something like this. But
Queen of Courts. Oh. Huh.
I can't remember what it was called. I'd have to go back and look at my yearbooks.
My daughter had like a winter ball sometimes, but it wasn't every year.
Yeah.
They actually had yearbooks back then?
Yeah. And they weren't on tablets. Yeah, I actually have my Baser Linwood yearbooks, so from where I went to high school. So, now when we get done, I'll have to go find them and dig them out and look it up what that was, because now it's bothering me that I can't remember. So, but well, Dan, how is the Amber Alert stuff been going lately? Has it picked up? Has it slowed down? Just the same?
I mean, I'm not going to jinx myself, but it gave me enough time to cover the case out of Alabama.
Yeah. Interesting. We had the JROTC ball this year, too.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about those.
Interesting. So the case with Alabama, what all does it entail, Dan? Is this the one where you posted a couple days ago about, and and I've told Dennis something's up with my messenger. It's like I won't get any messages like on our group chats for a couple days, and then all of a sudden Dennis will send something or one of you will send something, and I'll get like 20 of them in a row that all of a sudden download.
So that case out of Alabama, it's insane.
Are we talking a child, an adult? What exactly?
Here, so I'll explain it.
Okay.
Seeing how I've said it so many times, I've got it memorized. So on December 8th of this year, an accident took the life of see, I can't say it how I say it on TikTok here because I don't want to make the team look bad, but I can't call the guy a father because what he did.
Okay.
He intentionally caused an accident going 92 miles an hour into 45 miles an hour, slamming into the tree, taking the life of a almost 3-year-old child that was not restrained in a car seat. Placed his girlfriend in ICU, and he died. Right. So when the family heard about the accident, they asked about the other child, Caleb. And when law enforcement learned that there could have been another child involved in the accident, they searched for 8 days out there and they didn't find anything. So they went back to their investigation and found out nobody's seen that child since September 4th.
Oh, wow.
So at that time, they placed the grandfather, which is the guardian of both of those children, because they were placed under the guardianship of the grandfather. They placed him in jail for failing to report a child missing, and that child suffered bodily harm or death. And it also stated in the criminal complaint that the child suffered injuries and was removed from the home and taken to an unknown location and was never reported missing. So while all that was going on, I'll just say their names, Wendy Bailey, which is the mom.
Yeah.
Alleged mom. After she healed up a little bit, law enforcement placed her in custody. And her charges are aggravated child abuse, first-degree domestic violence, abuse of a corpse, and criminally negligent homicide. The criminally negligent homicide is in regards to the almost 3-year-old girl that died in the car accident because she was not restrained.
Oh, my word.
Now, I'll have to give a trigger warning on this one.
A what warning?
A trigger warning.
Okay.
After the mom was arrested, they did do multiple searches on the property with dogs, shovels, and everything like that. In that criminal complaint, they have text messages back and forth between the AKA father and the AKA mother, where they were texting back and forth. He was saying he was going to unalive the 1-year-old child and sending photos of that child hanging from a loft with blood dripping down from his body.
Oh, my word.
It gets worse, but if I keep going with it, our stream will probably get shut down. But let's just put it this way. She knew that this child was being beaten and abused, and the child was stuffed in a trash bag and kept in a storage shed outside their property for months before they took that child and put it somewhere else.
Oh, my word.
And here's the problem. So, y'all know me. I dig into everything. And when I found out the grandfather had guardianship, someone in Louisiana where they used to live offered to go to the courthouse and pick me up court documents. And in those court documents, he had multiple domestic violence charges, multiple aggravated assault with a weapon charges, battery charges, drug charges, and so on and so forth, right? So after learning all of that, we then knew that the Department of Human Resources in the state of Alabama placed these children in an unsafe environment. So right now, our goal is to get the governor of the state of Alabama to hold the caseworker accountable and do an internal investigation into the Department of Human Resources. Now, after learning just about that wrongdoing of DHR, we found 11 more separate cases where children lost their life due to the negligence of the Department of Human Resources in Alabama.
Oh.
So, like I told Dennis last night, they're ignoring my emails. Well, I got their fax number. I'm telling you, I'm gonna make that fax machine sound like a slot machine.
Yeah.
Yep. We have with my Facebook group that we have for this case. We have sent over 1,000 emails and gotten no response. So just imagine what the fax machine's going to sound like when 1,000 people start sending fax messages.
Man. That's so James, the electrician that I help, that I do all his digging, I do all his underground digging work and stuff. So I shared this with you all. I know I shared when it first happened, but I don't think I've gone into all of it. So last week he messaged me and I could tell he was upset, and I called him. I'm like, "What's up?" And he said, "Oh man, I got to do something I never thought I could do." So his son's best friend, and they're in a
What?
and was
He
found
froze.
deceased.
Oh,
Up, can you hear me?
you may have to
Am I there now?
say it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my buddy James, the electrician that I help, he messaged me something was going on. I said, what's wrong? I could tell he was upset. I called him. He said that his son, which is in elementary school, that his son's best friend was deceased. And he said, well, what happened? He says, I don't know yet, but another parent called and told me something. So I posted what was on the news to you all, and now I know what happened. So the mother was gone out of town, I guess, to see her mother, and the dad unalived the son and the daughter, which was 8 and 6 or 8 and 5. He lit the house on fire, and then he unalived himself. The neighbors heard the bangs, called for a welfare check. The police showed up, and there was smoke coming out of the house. They went inside the house, and the father was unalive, and the daughter was unalive, but the boy, he was still alive. But when they got him to the hospital, he didn't make it. So my buddy James, he's like, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, is tell my son that his best friend is no longer here. So the thing is what is going on? What happened? Why did this parent do what they did? Why? What is happening these days?
See, the sad thing is, Alex, it's become a normal.
I think you're right, because I guess it's either it's normal, or because of social media we're hearing about it, whereas 10 years ago we might heard about it but not as much. And maybe in the 90s you would never hear this because it's either you saw it on TV or you read it in the newspaper.
Well, see,
You know?
that's the other problem that the government has is social media is such a powerful tool that
Yeah.
we get news that
Yeah,
nobody's heard about.
exactly. So that's what I guess that's what I'm kind of saying is like your situation. If this would have happened back in the 90s, would any of us heard about it? Probably not. Unless we all sat down at the nightly news. You have your local news and then you have your national news. And was the national news going to go on there and report every single case of every single person that something terrible happened to? So it's terrible. It really is. But I just don't get, and I was talking with James and, we were talking about it and he's like, I just don't understand why this guy did it. Why? What was so wrong in his life? He felt the need to do what he did to his children. If he did it to himself, that's one thing. But why'd you have to do it to your children? Was it something against the mother? Was it just pure 100% mental issues?
There was a recent case out of Rhode Island. Same scenario. Only the mom was pregnant, and that guy unalived everybody in the house, including the pregnant mother and himself.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'll never understand how a parent or anybody could do anything to a child. See, one thing, I don't know. You guys know who Dennis. I know you know who Trev is. He's working on getting bills passed in the state of Tennessee that increases the punishments for anybody that harms a child. And then you got the Gabby Petito Foundation. I know most of you guys know who Gabby Petito is. I'm friends with the whole entire family, and their organization is trying to curb domestic violence.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, well, it could be a mental health issue. I mean, if that's the case, then something needs to be done to get more mental health resources into the country, or funding for mental health resources. But it's just become too common here lately, seeing this all over the news, multiple different cases where parents unalived their children.
Yeah.
But yet the app's a problem.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Tamara? I mean, what do you think, Dennis? What's your guys' opinion on this?
I think with there being so many children in that area that's placed with people that shouldn't have kids, period, that's a huge concern. How many other kids out there are being abused because they were put with somebody that's got a criminal record of doing just that?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys remember Elijah Vu, right? Out of Two Rivers, Wisconsin? The 3-year-old boy? He was murdered by his mom and the mom's boyfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's terrible. And I guess in the whole, I mean, it's like everything needs to be totally redone from A to Z when it comes to foster children, all these children that are in all these situations. What is the what is the steps, what is the background checks that they're doing, or they're not doing well enough, or they're not doing it all, where these people are getting away with this?
So I'm glad you brought that up, Alex. So, on a recorded call, I called the Department of Human Resources and see in Alabama and Oklahoma are only one party consent states. So I didn't have to tell them they were being recorded. And she admitted that their policy is to run a background check on anybody they place the children with. And just this case in Alabama, well, just the multiples of cases in Alabama, it's obvious they're either doing the background check and not giving a damn, or they're not doing their job and not running the background check.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're supposed to be doing it. It's their policy, but
Yeah. Oh, man.
and the sad thing is it's not just one state. It's a nationwide problem.
Yeah.
Just like the Amber Alert. If they would change some requirements or revamp the whole system, more children would be able to be located
Yeah.
in a timely manner. I mean, right now, I was sent a case out of New York. Parental abduction, 3-year-old child. Been missing since November. Law enforcement finally took the police report this month.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, and I don't know, this is, it could be one of the things that definitely the problem itself is really complex, but I've noticed that, like missing people is a different category in police. So if they would treat it as a criminal case, then it's like a homicide's a criminal case. They're treated differently. Missing people and are not considered criminal cases. If they could change that to treat it just like a criminal case, then that might get, in theory, it would get, more action taken or more quickly action taken. That might be one option. But yeah, the systemic issue, I think it's really complex, how people were raised, what's considered normal in that area, what's, there's nutrition issues, there's, poverty issues, there's all kinds of things that all lump into it. And yeah, I mean, there has to be some way to fix it, because it's really it's just awful.
Yeah.
See, I've learned that the number one problem with the Amber Alert system, yes, I know it was created for the most extreme cases, right? But by the time they prove an actual abduction, it's days, weeks too late. They could be in another country. They could have got on an airplane, been totally gone. Now, if they would remove that requirement like Texas does, and do it nationwide, it'd be beneficial. See, like I was talking about this on a live stream. The Ebony Alert out of California. That should be the requirements for an Amber Alert. Because not only does it include abduction, but it also includes the heck.
So back up a little bit, Dan. So I've never heard of the Ebony Alert.
So Ebony Alert is for colored individuals out of California, but it goes out just like an Amber Alert. But those requirements, they do include the environmentals. They say it's snowing, say it's thunderstorms. They include that. They include health in it. Say the person has mental health issues or regular health issues. They include that into the alert. See, as to the actual Amber Alert, it's 17 and up or 17 and under, proof of abduction, a description of the suspect and or vehicle, and description of the missing child and proof of abduction. But if you would add all of those other ones in there, say Sebastian Rogers out of Tennessee, it took them 2 days, 3 days, something like that, to activate an Amber Alert. And granted, there's no proof of abduction, But the reason why they were able to activate it is because it started out as a missing child alert because of his autism and other special needs. Now, say you ignore the missing child alert and go straight to an Amber Alert. As soon as that child's reported missing, not hours, days, weeks later, when you can get out of any state in the country in less than 6 hours, 7 hours, and the alert only goes out to the state that it's activated in, to devices. Now, law enforcement knows about it all across the country, but you've got more citizens than you do law enforcement officers.
Well, absolutely.
So, say, for example, an Amber Alert goes out, I'll say in Oklahoma, right? It should, by minimum, go out to every state surrounding the state of Oklahoma as well. Not just Oklahoma, because you can be out of Oklahoma in 5-6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree that the Amber Alerts, all those alerts should do all four corners, every direction. It shouldn't just be the area. It should be to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west. Because you're right. At any given point, within a few hours, you can be out of the state in one direction or another. More than likely. I mean, if you're all the way over in the Panhandle, you can go through all kinds of states in a hurry. And if it's only showing right there, I mean, you can be in Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, or Kansas.
Prime example, you had an Amber Alert go off in Kansas, near the Panhandle of Oklahoma, near Colorado border, near New Mexico border, near the Panhandle of Oklahoma. And the Panhandle of Oklahoma is small enough that they could get into Texas. That Amber Alert, they were actually found in Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
I've only been to the Panhandle of Oklahoma once. I bought a truck on an auction and I had to go get it, and it was in Optima, Oklahoma.
I don't know.
It was all the way over in the Panhandle, and it was a pig operation, Seaboard something corporation, and they do pigs all up and down, between Colorado, Kansas, New Mexico, Texas, and all that. But honestly, what does it take to go from the north side of the Panhandle to the south side? How long does it take?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. So in 30 minutes, you can go from Kansas to Oklahoma to Texas to New Mexico in just that little corner there. I mean, it makes sense. I don't know why they don't do that.
We froze.
Now you're back. But yeah, I agree. I think they should have it to where whatever area, you should have all surrounding states. So,
and see, the other problem I have is when they classify them as a runaway, because they don't get no attention. Yeah. Once a child's classified as a runaway, nobody pays attention because they assume juvenile delinquent runaway. When 80% of the runaways are prone to human trafficking.
Yeah.
And see, point made just recently. There was a case of a girl that went missing out of Florida. Turned out she was trafficked. Thankfully, they did locate her safe, but they didn't activate no Amber Alert. They had her listed as a runaway until they done their investigation and realized, oh, she's being trafficked.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish... I guess, how long has the Amber Alert system been? I know we've discussed this before in the past.
1995, I think.
Is it? So 1995, I mean, has there been any true updates, reform to it?
No.
Why not? Why would they not reform it and try to make it better?
Okay, so I'm going to jump down that bandwagon with you, Alex.
So it makes more work?
Everybody's saying we're freezing up. So, since the Amber Alert was designed, I think it's like 1,600 children have been located, right?
Yeah.
And that's since the 90s. Could you imagine the number if they revamped it, removed a few things, expanded the range? How many more children would be found?
Oh, I would say that it would be astronomical.
Just in 2 years, since I started TikTok, we have assisted law enforcement in finding 122 kids.
Man.
122 kids just through social media and investigating, but
Yeah. But getting the word out through social media is unbelievable power to spread word and awareness in a hurry. So
all I will say to that is all you criminals that like to do that, keep registering your addresses and your phone numbers. It helps a lot.
oh man.
Say, there's been cases that you've actually had law enforcement ask you, how are you finding this information?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Dan, we always commend you on your work. I commend you and I thank you for what you do and how much you've helped people, because you have done a tremendous amount. So it's just crazy.
But see, it's not me. I've got an army behind me.
Well, I
I've got
know.
I got a major army behind me. I got people that'll sit in the backfield and start looking up information while I'm pushing it out on a live stream.
Yeah. I don't see it freezing up. I've only seen Dan freeze up a couple times, and I'm watching my laptop and I'm watching my phone because I can watch the comments on my phone. It's crazy. I don't see it freezing on my end.
But I really do. I mean, the amount of people that jump in there, like for example, when we got a hold of this Alabama case, prior to that, the most previous one I did before that was a person of color, and I'll jump into that here in a second. My live stream jumped up to 300 people when I was doing the Amber Alert for a person of color, and then when people realized that it was a person of color, it instantly dropped down to 20 something people. But when I got a hold of this Alabama case, my live streams normally stay anywhere between, they started out at getting 30 something thousand people in there. And I mean, here lately, it's been, the live streams held 200 plus people during the whole entire live stream.
Wow.
Since we started talking about the Alabama case, I know for a fact, just through the live streams alone, because I see the data of the live stream, how many people seen it, how often they watched and everything like that.
Yeah.
So just the live streams alone, over 500,000 people seen that child's face. And that's not including the videos that my friends have posted on social media.
Yeah.
And we're looking, if you include all of them, at least 3 million people have seen that child's face. So it's all about having people behind you.
Yeah.
Because I've got a lot of people behind me.
Well, good deal.
Yeah, actually, I heard something recently from a case. It wasn't even a case. It was just a situation. It was a friend of mine, and it was her friend's grandmother. So it's secondhand, but it was, fairly recent. There's a local mall that's right along the interstate. It's an outlet mall. And the grandma had taken the daughter shopping, and she was like, I don't know, an 8 or so. And she wanted to go to the restroom. So she went to the restroom, and the grandma waited outside and waited and waited. And then she got concerned. So she called the police. And the police officer on the phone said, check the bathroom real quick. Really check her every stall. So she did. She checked every stall. And he was like, okay, I need you to do this. It's going to sound crazy, but you need to do this and do this now. He's like, I need you to go outside, look out. Can you see out a window to look out into the parking lot? And she said, yes. So there was a door. So she went and looked out in the parking lot. Do you see a large group of people in the parking lot? She's like, yeah, I see a huge group of people in the parking lot. He's like, okay, what I need you to do is I need you to run out there yelling and screaming and making the biggest noise and disruption you possibly can. And she was kind of like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, no, you have to do this. Just, there's not enough time. Just do it. So she did. She went running out there screaming and yelling, and all of a sudden the crowd just, it was like a huge people like in a huge circle, and the crowd spread apart as she came running at them. And her granddaughter was in the middle. They had already changed her clothes, and like half of her head was shaved.
Oh,
and they
my gosh.
left, and so she grabbed, her daughter had already been drugged. She was passed. Your granddaughter was already drugged and passed out. So she grabbed her and ran back in the mall. But it was like, that's how fast it can happen. I had no idea that like something like that would happen so close to home.
Wow.
And the officer said, yeah, this is what they do. And this is you don't have time to wait for the police or call security, so if anyone would ever lose a little kid, it's so different than it used to be. I mean, first thing you do is make sure that they're not like hiding in the bathroom somewhere. And they said it was like, the little girl said the woman that abducted her would look like a grandma. It was a woman that was older. She looked like she was completely stress-worthy, but she drugged her in the bathroom and took her out, and no one noticed. And yeah, it's just terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here lately, human traffickers have been using teenagers, younger women, older women to lure other women out.
Yeah.
I talked to my cousin. He's a retired police officer, and he said that what he had seen is that a lot of times if you're this is just his story. This is what he said that he had seen when he was when he was a police officer, is that there would be people, and I think it might be more recent now, that like if you come over from Mexico as an illegal alien and you don't have enough money to pay, the person to do that, they will say, well, you need to abduct X number of people to pay off your fee. He said that's one thing that he saw as he was a police officer, and that's why, at least for a time, they actually had an uptick, and that was the reason why, is because people either they owed someone something, whether it was for coming across the border or it was anything else. That was how they would do a payment system.
Holy moly!
Yeah. He tells me stories, and after a while, it's like I don't need to know.
See, the scary thing is, I think it's 88% of people that are trafficked for people that actually live in the United States. And they're trafficked outside of the United States, whether it be by shipping containers, by boats, by buses. It's just insane how they do it. There was recently I want to say a U-Haul that was pulled over, and thankfully that person put their hand outside the back of the vehicle.
I saw that.
They were able to locate all those children or individuals. It's just insane how they do it.
That's interesting.
It doesn't surprise me because, honestly, with human trafficking being a $151 billion industry in this country alone, how can you combat that?
Yeah. It's just crazy. I've had this talk with Dennis before and Dan, and we've discussed stuff, and this was before Tamara come along, but it's like they don't do enough on the news to tell you to talk to your children. They don't do enough. We had such an increase in kids going missing in Kansas and Missouri. What is on the news? What are they doing to tell you to talk to your children? And honestly, it's probably everywhere. It's just not our two states that we're in. Because statistically, I mean, I don't know, what Dan deals with, but or definitely what Tamara deals with where she's at. But it's just, there's nothing on the news. There's nothing that says, hey, by the way, take 10 minutes and talk to your kids about this. Talk to your kids about being with their friends and what happens, and we had a situation that some friends of ours that lived here, Dennis knows this story. I think Dan knows it. But when he was growing up, he lived in, I forgot. It was either South Dakota or Nebraska. Now I have to remember which one. But they grew up on a farm, and it was county fair time. And they were going to the county fair with their friends from school, but they didn't get their chores done, and their mom and dad wouldn't let them go to the county fair that Friday night. Well, the two other boys that they were supposed to go with, they went missing that night at the fair. They didn't come home, and the next couple of days, they found both of those other boys unalive, and they found them on the railroad tracks. So that night there was a train that had come into town and had stopped, and I guess was on what do they call it, furlough or something, when they set overnight.
Mm-hmm.
But they ended up finding out that the guy that did this, he had done it in other states. So this friend of Tammy and I's, if his mom and dad would have let him and his brother go to the fair with him that night, either they would have ended up the same way, or what was bad is he said if me and my brother would have went that night, maybe those two would be alive today because we could have helped fight this guy off.
And that's scary because, see, I'm glad, you know how you're bringing up how the news doesn't bring up or talk about letting your kids know about things. So here lately, the new trend is traffickers are using social media. They're using games and everything like that to lure children out of the house.
Oh, I agree. I mean, they're at the top of their game for what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they're constantly finding new ways to do it. And good night, Joanne. They're probably finding ways constantly to up their game, to be better at what they do. Just like any criminal, anybody that does anything, you figure out a way to be better at it.
Yeah, and now they got the dark web. So
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So
it's just mind blowing what they do now.
It is.
I mean, thankfully, Roblox here recently, this past, I think like 2 months ago, they updated their game to where it notifies parents if they're chatting in a chat.
Yeah.
But it's not just Roblox, though. It's Fortnite. It's all these other games. But Roblox here lately we know of 4 different cases where a child was lured out of their house. Just in the past few years.
Let me ask you guys a question. And if you want to answer, you answer. If you don't, you don't. So I've kind of had these talks with Tammy in the past, and I've had other friends that have kids. And my thought was, both my parents are deceased. My mom died when I was 18. My dad died when I was 39. Let me think here. I was either 39 or I was 39. I hadn't turned 40 yet. So, I got along with my parents great. Granted, I only had 18 years with my mom, but I never fought. I'm not going to say I didn't fight or argue like any kid would, but I respected my mom and dad. I did what I was told. I did when I was told to do something, I normally did it right then and there because I got the message one time, and I got the message.
Yeah. Yep.
I think there is too many parents these days that are their kid's best friend and not their parent. I think there's a line that used to be there, you know, at least my age range. There was a line, but I think that line is gone. I think a lot of parents these days with, you know, kids that are in high school, I think they want to be too cool and be their kids' friend and not their parent. You know, it's one thing when your child leaves that they're at that point where all they can do is take advice and take life lessons from your parent, and it's their job to do the right thing. You know, but when you're in the house, they've got to, you know, I don't think parents teach their children like they used to.
See, I agree to a point. So, with the new stricter laws that these agencies put on parents for discipline, these children know that they can walk all over their children and they can't get their ass whooped. Pardon my French.
Well, no, I mean,
back in our day, we used to be able to get a switch on our butts.
Yeah.
A paddle on our butts. Shit. When I was in school, they had corporal punishment. If I acted up in school, they called my parents and say, hey, he's getting a paddle.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
yeah,
it's like child abuse. They claim spanking your child's child abuse.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think is so crazy these days. Is it just seems like parents are afraid to do anything. I'm not saying you should beat your kid by any means, but I'm saying you should put the fear of God into them every once in a while to keep them in line. You know, that there should be something, because I just don't feel parents are parents anymore. And I feel at this point, parents don't dictate enough to their children that, like, look, just because you meet somebody, you know, I think going to the mall and meeting someone and hanging out was so much safer than talking to somebody like nowadays, you know? And I just don't feel that parents warn their children or try to have these talks with them to be like, look, just because someone smiles at you doesn't mean they're a good person. You know, you can't, just because they buy you dinner or, you know, if you're 21 and you're going to the bars, just because someone buys you a drink and they smile and then they want to go hang out, do you trust them? I mean, there's, and I just don't think I don't think parents try. I'm not saying they don't. I just don't think they do it enough. I don't think there is parents who don't do it at all, but I just think that there's just not enough stricter parenting going on anymore to keep your own children safe. But that's my opinion.
I agree with that part. And another thing that is a problem is you have adults going on to children's games, creating accounts as they were children.
Oh.
Ugh.
So what's happening is these kids think that these people are kids that they're talking to, and they give them their address and say, hey, you want to come out and play? That's what happens online, and it's disgusting. If we could force game manufacturers to do age verification through photo IDs.
I mean,
not allow private chat features on the games.
Yeah.
Because people aren't going to lure somebody through a public chat. Yeah. They're doing it through private chats. And that's what I liked about what Roblox did here recently, is they made it to where if your child's chatting in a private chat, it sends you an email.
Yeah.
But these games should not allow any game that for children under the age of 17 should not have private chats.
I didn't even honestly know that happens.
Oh, it happens a lot.
Is that games like on Xbox and PlayStation or like online computer?
All games.
All of them. All of them.
Wow.
It's how the traffickers are luring children out. It's through these games, through Snapchat, through Instagram, through trends or treads or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if you guys noticed, but have you noticed the new Facebook Messenger where it says this messenger is encrypted? It makes it harder for law enforcement to.
Something's going on with my messenger because, like I told y'all, I'm not getting messages. I'll go like a day or two and I won't get nothing, and then all of a sudden I'll get a message, and then I'll just get like 20 messages right in a row. You know?
No, he
Like-
just he looks
like-
at it. He's like, no, I don't want to respond, and just lets it build up.
I told Dennis the other night, I'm like, something is not right. I said, all of a sudden, you know, I'll just get one message, and all of a sudden it's just like, and it's all these voice messages and all this stuff. Because usually, like when I talk to Dennis during the day, we voice talk message back and forth on Messenger. Because usually I'm in the equipment or doing something, it's easier for me just to push play and listen than, you know, reading it or doing that or something. But now all of a sudden something's goofy, but my phone is like on its last poor little leg. Because this year I've smashed it like 3 times. I've had the screen replaced. I've had replaced twice. So it's on the 3rd screen now. And it's actually starting to really act up now. So it's time for me just to get a new phone.
What'd you say, Ray? He needs to go.
I mean, Alex, out of all honesty, we figured you outgrew the flip phone a long time ago.
Yeah, sort of, kind of. I think I'm on an iPhone 11 now.
Okay, so I got an iPhone 13 Pro Max. It's been the best phone so far.
Right?
Now, I will say this. Do not go for the iPhone 16.
I think I got Tammy. Is 16 the newest or 16 what came out last year?
No, 16 came out, 2024, the end of 2024.
My youngest daughter has that.
Has she been having problems with it overheating?
Nope.
I
I don't know that the kids on her phone so much that I could.
It's been all over social media that they've been having problems with the iPhone 16's overheating.
Yeah. No, Tammy's hers is either a 15 or 16. I don't remember now. But I have. Yeah, I think she's on her 3rd phone and I'm on this one. So she's been through a couple. So, but I still have her old iPhone 11 that if I had to use it, I could use it probably. But yeah, I don't know what's been going on, but I did get some update thing the other day that was telling me to update or do something. And then when I logged on my computer onto Facebook on my laptop that I'm on right now, it made me do a code. And it's never done that before. So I had to do the uppercase and the lowercase, and it wanted me to do some authentication so it wasn't IA or AI.
Yeah.
I've never had that on my laptop, and it did it tonight.
Try going through a TikTok live stream, and when you're right in the middle of a live stream, all of a sudden they make you put a puzzle piece together. I'm like,
Lord.
guys, I'm sitting right in front of the camera. Does it look like I'm?
Oh, they just want to double check now.
I mean, come on.
That's crazy.
And then we've got Dan taking 20 minutes trying to put his 2 puzzle pieces together.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt.
Man.
Well, that doesn't matter. I just got a new phone yesterday, and when I went and got it, the lady at the store, she said, you know, your phone's antique, right? Yeah.
Which one did you have?
LG Stylo 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Dave.
Well,
Megan
at
had the
least,
5 forever, so you know.
at least it wasn't like Alex's concrete slab and a hammer and chisel. I mean,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Not out carving stone with Moses. No. Sometimes I think it might be faster though. 'Cause I
now,
don't know.
So-
I've done really good all these years, never smashing my phones, breaking them when I'm in the equipment.
I've got a question. How many of you guys, even out in the field, have been having problems with data or internet service or anything like that?
Yes.
Well, where I work, I get no service. I have to go outside, but I work for the government, so.
I'm going to send you a link. They have a new device out that is a portable Wi-Fi that you stick in your pocket, and it's unlimited data, everything, $17, $18 a month.
Oh,
What?
wow.
Wow. Yeah, you'll have to share that with us, Dan.
I found out about it yesterday, so
See, that would be good to have, like that search coming up in April. That is kind of out a little ways, just to have
Yeah.
Wi-Fi to be able to stream that, especially if we went live
Yeah.
with it.
How much are satellite phones these days? Like legit
expensive.
satellite phones.
Thousands of dollars. I looked them up.
You're like,
Did you?
hello.
Or the bag phones. Remember the bag phones in the cars?
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah.
Just give me a plastic cup with the string attached to it.
Oh,
We'll call it
geez.
good.
Hey, that would have to be one long string.
Right?
Yeah. So,
Are
some of
you
these,
roaming?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
yeah, some of these well, I know like up in our area, they've the Verizon towers, so I had Verizon. So we went from Sprint to Verizon, and believe it or not, we are now on the Grandpa Grandma network. So we are on Consumer Cellular. And there's a couple of reasons. I know. Go ahead and laugh.
I'm sorry, that was not nice.
We're over 50. Oh yeah, Mac. Right. Let's bring back the Nextel.
Yes, I
Yeah, we-
agree with
Wow.
that.
Oh my
The-
gosh, Mary, you listening? Hey,
We used to play Nextel Terrorists, where we would just randomly Nextel people on the two-way and talk crap.
yeah.
But so up in our area, we were having issues, and when I switched the phones from Verizon to Sprint, we went from Sprint to Verizon because when we first moved to the Missouri house, we had no signal. So we switched, and then it went to crap. So basically, I talked to Verizon before we switched to Consumer Cellular, and they told us that they had shut off the remaining 3G towers that were pointed in our area. So they basically told me to take my phone, take it to the Verizon store. They were going to put a 4G, 5G SIM card in it and see if it would work. So I took this phone, because this phone originally was from Verizon, and I took it up to the Verizon. They did it. I came home. It didn't make a difference. So we went rounds and rounds, and basically once I got off the highway and was almost to my house, the phones didn't work. The only way they would work is if I came in the house and used the internet to do internet calling that way. And I told Verizon, I said, well, this is a crock of crap. You had to pay for at least half my internet bill since your phones don't work, and you're telling me I have to use my home internet now to use my phone and use the internet on my phone. So I ended up switching, and I switched to Consumer Cellular because they use everybody's towers. And so there was Sprint and AT&T towers in our area that were pointed towards us that still had 3G capabilities. But then, like I said, Tammy's upgraded a couple times and I haven't. So So, I know everything's changing so much, but there's spots where they don't work, and then there's spots where they work just totally perfectly fine.
I tell you, there's times I come out of where I work, get halfway across the parking lot, and my phone will finally kick back in with service, but it's 2G.
Does it go da-ding, 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 da-ding with all the missed messages and calls?
But 2G, I didn't even know that existed anymore.
I didn't know it did because, like I said, when I talked to Verizon, they said the last 2 towers in our area, and they sent me the map and showed where all the towers were on I-29, up here by where we live. And they said, this one's pointed towards your city, this one's pointed, and these are getting shut off in the next couple months. These are already shut off, so you've got to switch to a newer phone. And I'm like, you're forcing me into a new phone, and I don't want a new phone right now.
Yep.
No. But in the end, we have to obey, follow instructions and obey.
Yeah,
Now, I'm going to tell you something that's rather interesting. So I think it's iPhone 15 and higher. They do have a feature on the iPhone to where you can convert it to satellite.
Oh, really?
Where you could, instead of bouncing off towers, you're bouncing off satellites.
Interesting.
You know that.
I'll have to look at Tammy's phone and see.
I'll find out how it's done, and I'll send you the info. But yeah, you can switch it over.
Yeah.
Like say a storm happens, and this happened after the major storms.
Yeah.
Apple came out with them doing that because of people not having cellular service.
Yeah.
Towers were gone.
Yeah.
So they can bounce it off of a satellite and be able to make now it's for emergency calls only, I believe, though.
Really? Have any of you seen the Starlink internet stuff anywhere?
So
I saw it fly over the house when it first, and that was freaky. It's like a line of lights.
No, I'm talking about the actual internet stuff like you would see in your house or a business. Have you all ever seen it yet?
I have, but you don't want to get me started on Elon Musk and his Starlink because of what he did to North Carolina.
So at my pain doctor, where I go to my pain doctor, I walked in there one day and I was just walking in, and I walk in the entryway, I go down a hallway to the elevator, and then I have to go upstairs to like the 3rd floor. Well, I walk through there and I just happen to look over at the wall, and there's this giant box that's, I don't know if you can see my hands here, but I don't know. It's probably 2 foot by about 1.5 feet tall with these big giant antennas on it. And it was red and silver. And I'm like, what is that? So I walked up to it and it said Starlink internet services. And so the whole building is running that system and stuff. So that's the first one I've ever seen, besides hearing about seeing the Starlink train flying over, but I've never seen the actual internet stuff anywhere in a home or a business.
Now, the one you've seen was for businesses. The ones for home are like little white ones.
Yeah, this was a good probably 1.5 feet tall. It might even be like 3 foot wide. So next time I go, actually, I have to go this week to my doctor's office. So I'll snap a picture of it and share it with you all. It's pretty impressive. So I'll even have to ask my doctor how well it works in the building. So.
And Be Beautiful, you said we have AT&T here, but I use a company called Cricket. That's what we all use. So we love it. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I get signal pretty much everywhere, even where others don't. I always got signal to make calls and get messages.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to admit who I go through. I mean, Alex, I guess I can admit it because Alex already admitted he went through them at one time. But I go through Verizon, and I'll tell you, it's insane.
with consumer cellular, if so I have I have AARP. So
we know that.
So with the AARP discount, it basically you get services. You get 2 phones, unlimited phone calls, unlimited text, unlimited internet. It's $55 a month. So it's pretty hard to beat. If you don't have the AARP, it's like 60, 68, I think, $70 a month. So you get a little bit of the old people discount.
How many more years do we got to go before we can get that? That's a pretty good deal.
Well, you can technically get it when you're 50.
I'm not even hitting 50 yet. Damn.
So, but hey, you get huge discounts, places to eat. You get when we went on Mark Fullerton's, when we went to Arkansas and we did all that, I used my AARP card to get the discounts for the hotels, and it saved, sometimes it saved almost $20 a room, per night. So,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really is. So, I mean, it's $10, $15 a year for a membership. I mean, you save that much going out to eat one time if you get the discount, and they have an app to download it. So
if I go traveling, I'm taking Alex with me.
Yeah. Right. We go to the Saltgrass Steakhouse and get $10 off per steak meal. That's what I'm talking about.
See, that would be beneficial. I mean, you not only get the AARP discount, but you get the senior citizens discount as well. I mean, you can make some money.
Yeah. That's what happens. That's what happens when you're 51 years old. So
51? Is that what you are?
I'm 51 and Tammy's 52.
Oh, she
her age. Oh,
we're gonna see a shoe come flying in from this little house there behind you on your screen.
Yeah. 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 You never know. She might show up out of nowhere. And the screen goes blank and I'm gone.
We'll come look for you, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it only acting up for me again?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, everything just glitched.
It's probably your party lights you got in the background.
No, it's probably my Blue Peak internet service. It's supposed to be really good. We've been fighting it through the winter because the box that they bring the wires into the house is outside, and the fiber optic wire is smaller than
is it getting
a piece
cold?
of yarn.
I know. How cold does it really get there, Dan? Let's be honest.
So this past week, it's been 9-10 degrees.
Yeah.
Nice. Sounds about right.
Coming up on the 19th, we're supposed to drop down again.
Yeah, it's supposed to get cold. What about you, Tamara? How's the weather been up there in your neck of the woods?
It's been chilly, but it's not too bad. I think we made it up to 20 a couple days. But yeah, we're looking at cold again. Yeah, the coldest we get, I think,
I know,
that I remember is -40 wind chill.
My Dennis, you changed.
Right? God.
Pizza rolls must be ready. Dennis disappeared.
Hey, I didn't say your age on there, huh?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't care. I'm the baby of the group.
Yeah.
Wait a second. No, I'm only 21.
Oh, And what did we say? If Alex was green and black,
Green went blank.
Uh-oh.
Tammy got a hold of you, huh?
It's nice knowing you, Alex.
Yeah.
And Tammy, we said you were 23, so we're innocent.
We lost Alex. He's
I
going
know,
to
that's-
time out.
Rest in peace, Alex.
You know she unplugged the internet, so she
Yeah, I know, right?
so we can't see what she's doing behind the camera. Plop.
Dan, make a flyer for Alex.
There he goes.
Kicked him
We lost
completely
him.
out, too. Wow. Well, hi, Meg.
Hi. What y'all doing?
Alex, where'd you go?
I just messaged him, said, hey, lost you. Be safe.
Tell him to blink twice if he needs help.
Cat's trying to climb through the glass window.
So waiting on Alex, I did want to mention something real quick tonight. The river experiment that we're wanting to do where we send the tracker down to see how far it goes. We actually need a special event scientific research permit for that. And we're working to obtain that. So that's been the holdup on that river experiment is we've got to get that permit. So it's in the works. Hopefully soon. We would like to do it right now because some of the cases we're looking at, it's basically this time of year, there's ice on the river. And so it's going to kind of almost not be identical, but be a lot closer to what it was when those people went missing, give us a better idea of how far downstream they could have went. But we'll keep you guys updated on that and when that's actually going to take place.
No.
Then Alex we were talking about at the farm show, the private room to talk to people because some people don't want to talk publicly. Some people want to be anonymous. We want to remind everybody, we do have a P.O. box that people can send to and be able to remain anonymous with that. It's in the video description and, of course, going across the screen now too. But just something else to keep in mind. We do have some stuff that's supposed to be on its way to that P.O. box in regards to a case. So it just kind of reminded us to remind everybody that that's an option of sending information over as well.
Did you have anything to say about that one, Denny?
The Smithville Lake event. Yeah, we'll bring that up again real quick too. This we were going to do back in the fall and talking with officials and stuff, it got pushed out till early this spring. It's a 7,190 acre lake, anywhere from 23 to 60 plus foot. There's areas that's 80 foot deep, but we're going to be searching all the access points and anywhere that a vehicle could have went in. We'll be talking with the Clay County Sheriff's Department as well as the Missouri Highway Patrol on this. They may come out and assist with it. That would be great. But we want to make sure that they're aware we're on the same page with it. And there may be other teams coming in to help us do this search. Such a big lake, having other teams in is really going to help us cover a lot of ground a lot quicker. So we'll keep you guys up to date on that as well. But we have there's a local business there that really stepping in to help out. And there's likely going to be a couple more businesses in the area pitch in on some things with this. So looking forward to doing that. As big of a lake as it is, where it's at, all the secluded access points, you know, most likely that it's going to hold something. So, but we'll keep you guys updated on when the date will be that we're out there, because we're going to be streaming live multiple times there. Some of the other teams may be streaming live, and we'll see what we can find and hopefully bring missing people home.
Yep. And then
Looking at my notes I had written down for tonight. It's weird having notes again. Yeah, that's stuff that we can go over later. We did have 30 something new subscribers here on YouTube over the last few days. So I want to say welcome to everybody that's come over. Thank you for being over here. And I just noticed that we lost Dan too.
Yeah. Alex has been found safe.
He needs to mark himself safe on Facebook.
yeah.
Oh man.
Jeez.
So do y'all have anything to add?
Later this week, I'm going to be doing a video showing off some new stuff I've done. I might show off the new logo. Yeah. We have some shirts that I'm going to be making with the new logo. They're all going to be on my Etsy page and all my other stuff. I don't know if I'm going to run a sale this week or not. But yeah, I'm just going to do a video later, and just remember that some of my proceeds go toward Muddy Waters. So
I think it's a percentage of all sales and or all profits, and then 100% of the profits of the Muddy Water stuff.
Yeah.
And that link is in the video description as well.
Okay.
And Tamara, do you have anything you'd like to add on here tonight?
No, nothing specific. No,
Good.
great
Throw her
conversation.
on the spot.
No, nothing specific. But no, actually, I did want to tell the story about the mall story, because it's like a local mall that I would completely trust, and it makes me feel better that all the times with my family that I've been very careful. So, because even though you feel silly, it's like go in the bathroom with them.
Right?
Yeah.
my kids are, my daughter's a teenager now, and I still follow her in, and I know that makes me sound like a helicopter parent, but I don't go anywhere without my kids.
Well, my youngest just turned 18, and the last time we went somewhere, she went into the bathroom, and I literally waited outside the bathroom for her.
Mhm.
As long as I've got an eye on her.
Yep.
And my oldest, she's 20. If we did hang out more, then I'd be the same with her as well. So.
See, and I get eye rolls from the kids when we're at the stores, because I always have them in front of me, parking lot, inside, always in front of me where I can see them.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter, when we would go shopping, and she actually still does this once in a while, put the hand on the stroller. She will still do that, even when she was like a teenager. Every once in a while, she would still do that just out of habit. So,
Yep.
So it's kind of nice to just, she's right there. And yeah, it's a balance because you want them to have their freedom. But yeah, it's just.
Nowadays, they don't need freedom. No.
You can just, it's one of those things with this few times where it's like, okay, you go over there and you don't know I'm watching you, but I'm right here. So.
Right. Right.
So, I've almost walked into people before because I thought somebody was walking too close to the kids. And it's like, what are you doing? Who are you?
I'll do that all the time with them. Even if Nobody's even near us. If somebody just looks weird to me, I will grab their hand and be
Yep.
like, Mom, what are you doing? It's like,
Yep.
nothing. It's just what you buy me.
I used to be one of those parents that actually put a backpack on my daughters that had a leash.
Yeah.
I was one of those parents. So yeah.
I think they need to put a leash on you.
Yeah. Anyway,
So, guys, really appreciate you guys coming on with us tonight. I am going to talk to Ben. He is the man that joined us on the Melissa Trumpy case here a while back, and going to do a part 2. And so I'm going to talk to him about coming on next Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Then the following Sunday night, what we'd like to do, because I'm pretty sure part 2 is going to be similar to part 1, just packed full of stuff. So the following Sunday night, we will do a part 3 that's just a straight Q&A. And we're going to put a limit of like a 4-minute time frame on answers, just to be able to cover as many questions as possible and not derail off. So I'll talk with him this week, get this confirmed, update you guys on that. Hopefully next Sunday night we'll have part 2 of that. Again, just a strange, seems like a very strange case, and it may be one of them that just a normal everyday answer. And I hate putting it that way. It may be something minor that caused this.
Yeah.
It may be something extreme. So the more we dig into it, the more questions I have, basically.
right?
So we'll try to get with him, see when he can come on. Hopefully next Sunday night will be part 2 of that. If there is a case that you guys want us to do an in-depth episode on, please let us know, and we will work on getting that out to you guys.
Gunnar says, did you get my picture of me with the shirt you gave me?
No, I didn't get that.
Did you get one?
He won one of the shirts.
Yeah.
Did everybody get their shirts? No. Okay, there was one person that we didn't get their contact information on. They messaged here recently. And so with the snow and everything, the roads are clear here now. So we'll be getting that shirt sent off to you. And
He sent it by email.
I'm going to have to check those and see if it's there. And I know Megan, she puts a lot of work in the shirts and stuff. And, you know, it sounds like it's a simple, quick thing, but she makes it look easy. But so, guys, again, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll let you know what next week's going to be. There's other videos going to be released this week. Tamara, thank you for coming on. Again, anytime that we're doing a live feed like this, I always put the link for the team in the chat. You're welcome to join in on any of them that you would like to come on.
Okay. No, thank you for having me.
We're just glad to have you on the team.
Yes, ma'am.
Good people are hard to come by today. So when you find one, you don't want to let them go.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
stuck with us now.
Well, apparently I won't say my age either. So, because Alex is still gone. So
yeah, we have to call him here in a minute. Yeah.
Right.
He's brilliant.
So, guys, with that, till next time, you guys have a good night. Stay safe, and we will see you guys down the road.
Bye.
Bye.